Not really. DM screens are one of those items that you will see throughout many different types of tabletop role-playing games. Dungeons & Dragons is not the only type of game that uses them. Games like Pathfinder use them, as well as Call of Cthulhu and many others. They serve a variety of purposes, but the main one would be to hide your notes from the players so that they cannot see what is coming or what you're writing down, also to hide your dice rolls from the players. But sometimes the Dungeon Master screen can be a little bit more than just meant for hiding things from your players. Many Dungeon Masters, myself included, will put sticky notes up on the inside of the Dungeon Master screen for quick references, like players' passive perception or initiative track, as a way to just get notes off of the table cluttered in front of you and up directly ahead of you, right in front of your eyes. There's also different variations of Dungeon Master screens. You can get some custom-made ones that have dice towers built directly into the screen itself. Or another way to do initiative is to get little clips that sit on the top of the Dungeon Master screen, and you can move them along and switch them up depending on whose turn it is in the initiative. But of course, like I mentioned at the beginning, you do not need a Dungeon Master screen. You could easily run a game of Dungeons & Dragons or any type of tabletop system without a DM screen quite easily. If you're not worried about your players looking over at your side of the table and reading your notes upside down, no need to hide them. If you're a Dungeon Master that doesn't fudge your dice rolls, no need to hide them. Now, fudging your dice is something we'll talk about in a later video, but for this video, we're talking about the Dungeon Master screen. Most of the time, if you're thinking of whether or not you need a Dungeon Master screen, for Dungeons & Dragons at least, when you pick up the Dungeon Master's Guide, the Player's Handbook, and the Monster Manual, if you pick up all three, usually it will come with a Dungeon Master screen along with it. And if you're looking to pick up a starter set to Dungeons & Dragons, like Dragon of Icespire Peak, it will also come with a Dungeon Master screen of its own. Links to both the books, a Dungeon Master screen, and the Dragon of Icespire Peak are all down below. So ask yourself this: do you intend on fudging your dice? Do you intend to keep notes from the players? Are you worried your players will look over at your side and try to read what you have written down for things to come or secrets that you're trying to hide? If you believe any of those apply to you, I recommend getting a Dungeon Master screen. If none of those apply to you, then I wouldn't worry about it, and you should go out there and have fun. And hey, if you still want to pick one up, they're relatively cheap and inexpensive, and it looks cool sitting at the table. But do you need one to be a Dungeon Master? No. But will you look and feel cooler using one as a Dungeon Master? Well, you tell me. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you to my Patreons. I hope you're all having a fantastic day, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Skål!